Okay, today on the 135, we're up to putting the pinion back in. Now, on our pinion, I've got a few of the pieces laid out here in front of us. Our bearings were good. It has a needle roller support at the back end here with a little wire clip. You can just press that out if you need to, but look, ours are good. The teeth on our pinion are really good. We can't complain about that at all. And even the bearings are good. The bearings have got no marks on them really. Yeah, so look, I've made the decision. We're going to go with what we have. Now, because these two bearings on the pinion, they both sit here, and you know, they're all within that little, well, the two cups are probably 5 mil apart, maybe. So because you've supported the pinion here, you have drive coming in here, which is a rotational force, but then when you have the teeth here driving the crown wheel, it wants to push it that way. So it wants to push it away from the crown wheel, because as you turn this gear and try and force the crown wheel around, and these bearings are very close together, it would want to, as the bearing got slightly worn, they'd just have to get out of adjustment a little, and that would get out of whack. So that's why they have the support bearing here. Great idea. It's a really good thing to do. So we have our support housing here, and it's coming up looking nice. Now I'd like to point out, you see a little hole here. That hole there goes right through into between where the bearings are. Be alright if I could keep it in frame, wouldn't it? And that goes to the left hand side. So there's a little locating dowel on here. There's a little locating dowel on here, so you can't really put it in wrong. But what happens is the crown wheel on the left hand side rolls round and round, and it flicks oil up into a little pocket in the housing, and then that runs into this hole here, and that's what helps to keep your pinion lubricated. So what are we going to do here? Okay, we'll get some oil. We'll put a bit of oil around the bearing. Now, whatever oil you put in the back end of your tractor is fine. You can talk all day about oil. We just want a bit of lubrication to get it started. And we can sit that like that. We can get the other bearing lubed up a little bit. That comes down over the top like that. And that's what you're looking for. There's your two bearings supported there. Now, where are we? Over here. Trying to work in a monitor. Okay, now on the front here, if you can remember from pulling it apart, we have a gear where the PTO gear can slide and engage this for ground speed PTO. So this is the collar that goes on there. So the collar goes on next. Then there's a lock tab. Now you can see all these tabs are still good. This one here, if you can see that, that's the one that was used last time. So in my instance, I don't want to use that one again. So I'll break that one off, so that whenever we put the pinion back on here now, we'll pop him down there, I'll put the nut on, we know we're using a new tag. Now, we'll have a few shadows here. I've been having a battle getting back to the tractor, so. Okay, the nut looks similar both sides. So we can just It used to sit down this side, you can see that. This is the shiny side, so we'll put it back on that way. And we'll screw him right down. Now, because this collar here, I might try and bring the camera over a little bit where it's comfortable to work, instead of leaning across all the time. Okay, because this housing is sitting down on the lower bearing, if there's going to be any free movement, it's going to be on this here. Now, we want a slight bit of preload. So end float is when the bearing's loose and the shaft can expand and tighten up the bearings, but our bearings are that close, our shaft's not really going to expand. So when you look at the book, it says to tighten this nut to 1.6 foot-pounds or 20 inch-pounds. Now, since I sold the workshop off, I haven't got an inch-pound torque wrench anymore. But look, that figure means that you just want a little bit of preload. It's very little. 20 inch-pounds is very little. What I'm going to do in this instance, I have a little C-spanner here. I'm just going to try and nip that up just a little bit. Now, what do we look for? How do we know we're right? Well, with this down like that, that means we've just tightened this cone down into the cup. So what I look for is I have a look, and when I turn it with the weight away like it is, make sure every roller turns. And that way you know that the bearing's down solid, you are down home. We can just hop on this sleeve and just don't knock it through the bench, just make sure it's firm. And there's no movement there, like you would feel it. So let's have a look. See if our lock tab lines up for us. One doesn't, but this one's about the closest, I believe. I don't want to go backwards and put end float into the shaft, so I believe I'm just going to tighten it up slightly so that this one lines up. So I'll take that and pop it in my vise, and well, look, I'll just see if I can do it without the vise, just to save the frame really. So I'll try and hang on to that if I can. Well, perhaps if I slide the gear on just for a moment, that will give me something to hold. It's on the rotating mass, so it may help me. So where's the one we want? It's there. You can see. So I've got to come, the official term's a 15th of a turn. Look at that. I've gone a 15th too far now. That's a metric 15th. No, we don't have imperial 15ths here in Australia. They're all metric 15ths. Okay, so before we fold that tab back over again, we'll feel that. And it's good to turn it a few times just to make sure the bearings are in. I'll take this back off once more. So we know we have a slight bit of preload on that bearing, and look, that's all they're asking for. we're not within cooey of another tag lining up. So this is the one we're going to use. So I'll get my screwdriver here and just lift this tab up. Whoop. Just a little bit here. And there is my lock tab all done. So that pinion feels good. We can see all the rollers are turning. I might just drop some oil down in here just because I can, really. We'll put a bit of oil around the rollers here. A little bit of oil around the outside. Wipe a few fingerprints off the gears. I don't know if that's important or not. I doubt that it is. Okay, now let's go over to the tractor and we'll mount this in the housing. The bolts here are 80 foot-pounds and you'll notice one is shorter than the other. That's the very bottom, one shorter I mean. There's a recess here for one bolt and that is where the bottom is, and that leaves this here, this hole here for your feed on the left hand side. So look, I imagine it would be possible to bolt this up in the wrong place and you'd bolt it up and you'd probably push that little dowel back and it'd probably just come flush with the housing and you may not even notice. So look, keep an eye out for that. And with that on the left, this is down the bottom. All right, enough flapping my gums. Let's go over to the tractor and we'll fit it.